Dude, what the heck is going on with these tariffs? Seriously, I cannot say that enough. I have been wondering that myself the last few days, and I've done a ton of digging into trying to figure out everything around the tariffs as much as possible so that I can also come on here and tell all of you exactly what is going on with them as well. So, let's dig right in and figure out what are Amazon sellers and just e-commerce sellers in general supposed to do about all of these tariffs that are going on. The good news here is that as of just a little while ago, when I was looking over this, it got announced that Trump says he's going to pause tariffs for 90 days for everyone except for China, which on the top level sounds fantastic. Economy wise, we're not going to see as much of a recession just right away. This likely happens right after the fact that, we kind of tanked the entire stock market. Who cares about that as much, right? What we care about more so is what's going to happen to the average Amazon seller. And as many people probably know, about 65% of all sellers on Amazon purchase their products and have them manufactured in China. Now, there is that 35% outlier that's in the US, it's in India, it's in Vietnam, and what I say is congrats to you guys. You guys are kind of on the winning end of this for right now. But for those that are producing and manufacturing in China, you're going to have a little bit of a different time. Right now, we are looking at roughly about 125% hike on China, and that's on top of the actual duties that you already pay of that 20%. So we're right now at saying 104%. Trump is saying we're going to be up to that even higher. So this is going to get really, really dicey really, really quickly. Now, a couple of big things with this as well. As you know, you can read through this. There are a ton of other areas to be getting a lot of information around this. Here is what my first and foremost thought is going to be. Don't do anything. Honestly, don't do a thing right now. Do not change your prices. Do not hike your prices up unless you are having inventory delivered to the US border today and have to pay the tariff. Do not change anything. And I say this for the very specific reason that 1 week ago today, all of this started. All of this was announced, and it was a big shock to everyone. People started freaking out. People don't know what it's going to be like. And I came on, I did a Friday live Q&A with people. People were asking about tariffs and what to do. And my best advice to them on Friday was don't do anything. Why? Because we don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. This is a very, very common thing where people are getting a little too ahead of themselves. This is a great example. 1 week ago, we had essentially tariffs in the US for pretty much every single country you could really think of or manufacture from. 1 week later, now apparently it's only China. And we only really probably cared about China in the first place. So, that being said, here is what my best advice would be. Plan out exactly what your overall strategy is going to look like for all of this. What I mean by that is take a look at specifically how this is going to impact your overall pricing, figure out what your cost of goods is going to be, and understand exactly how you're going to have to change your pricing. A lot of people see this idea of 100% tariff on a specific country, and they immediately jump to this conclusion that they're going to have to raise their prices 100%, and it's going to absolutely plummet their conversion. The reality of this being is that that's not really the case at the end of the day, right? The only thing that's being affected is your direct manufactured cost of goods. There's a couple of different key things that I'm telling people to really focus on right now. One of the primary ones would be going to your manufacturer, and this is a perfect time to renegotiate with them. Manufacturers in China are going to be very worried about this because it's going to kill a ton of business for them. So this is the perfect time to go to them and say, hey, I'd like to renegotiate how much we are paying for cost of good. Perfect opportunity at this moment for that. Now, secondarily to that as well, people need to understand from their pricing side, it's only affecting the actual cost of good landed, right? The landed cost of good sold. So if you're looking at it from that aspect as well, you're likely, let's say for a $5 product, now you're paying $10. Does that mean that you have to go from selling the product for $40 to $80? No, your margins are not going to be hit that intensely from your landed cost of goods, especially if you're an Amazon seller. Amazon sellers should know full well that we're used to fees at the end of the day, right? Amazon has been raising fees everywhere they possibly can for as long as I have been on the platform. There has not been a single year, even in 2025, when just a few months ago, they had announced the fact in 2024 hey, we're not going to raise our referral fees in 2024. It's the first year in as long as I could remember that they would not raise referral fees. Well, what did they turn around and do? They've raised the cost and the fees of pretty much everything else that you can imagine, including the aspect of even coupons and promotions, which, if you haven't checked that already, I posted a video on that a couple weeks ago. Go check that out. Now, back to the tariffs. The big thing to really think about here is the aspect of what are you actually going to have to be pricing your product at to stay both competitive on a conversion rate perspective and against your competitors, while simultaneously making sure you're still hitting the profit margins you realistically need to at the end of the day. You may think to yourself, you want to pull back, right? You don't want to purchase much inventory. You don't want to, increase your prices too much. It's going to kill your business. A big thing that I always love referencing and something that I always think about is Warren Buffett's phrase. Warren Buffett's phrase is, when everyone else is greedy, be fearful. And when everyone else is fearful, be greedy. It's a perfect example. The people who always benefit and who always do the best whenever there is a down economy, whenever there is huge issues like this, are the people that are very smart and who take advantage of the situation. A couple of ways, again, to take advantage is, like I said, renegotiate how much your costs are. For all we know, this tariff goes away in the next 2 weeks, but you renegotiate today with your manufacturer to get a new cost, and you get to set that cost in stone, right? So these are the type of things that realistically can help a business. Now, you can also look at moving your manufacturing, but that's not realistic for probably 95% of sellers out there. A lot of people just realistically can't move their manufacturing to another country. They can't move it to India, to Vietnam, to Mexico, and still keep a decent profit margin. It likely is still going to be as expensive, if not more expensive, in those areas, even with the added tariffs at the end of the day. These are all things I like to just point out and make sure people are aware of when they're thinking about what the next move is going to be for them. So, again, my biggest advice for you is to wait it out. That is, I know, going to be exceptionally difficult, especially in this time. We're in unprecedented times as far as what really is going to happen next. Nobody really knows because there's not really a plan that's being announced, unfortunately. And if there is some 4D chess maneuvers going on, I would love to know what they are so that I can plan. Because I am big on taking, plans and, speeding them along. But all of that being said, just wait it out is my best advice. Make sure you have your pricing strategy in line for when you have to enact it. Again, if you already have either inventory on a boat on the way here, or if it's about to land, yeah, you're going to have to change your pricing a little bit faster than others. Make sure that you're taking conversion rate as the primary factor in play there, as your primary area to actually be looking at. But secondarily to that, also just make sure to check your competitors. Competitors are also going to have to change their pricing at the end of the day. It's a big thing that I think a lot of people forget is that you're not the only one who's going to have to raise it, right? Other people will have to raise their pricing, and if they want to stay competitive in the market, they're going to have to. This can also be a really good time if you don't have to necessarily raise your pricing, if you have a little bit of padding within your profit margins at the end of the day, and you can weather the storm. This is the perfect opportunity to just dominate within the seller rank and increase your conversion. All your competitors are going to be increasing their prices. If you can keep your price relatively competitive, I would do it. Honestly, you're going to be doubling down. Again, this is exactly what I was saying. Be greedy when others are fearful, right? If you can accept a 10% overall profit margin and you can keep yourself afloat off of that comparatively to, let's say, 20% overall profit margin, that's fantastic, in my opinion. That is just the perfect opportunity for you to start dominating, increasing your ranking overall, increasing your conversion overall, becoming the de facto in the market. And then once all of this goes away, people are now going to be trying to compete for your spot in your position. So all of that being said, the biggest things to keep in mind again is that we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know if this 125% is going to stay tomorrow. We don't know if it's going to stay next week. I'm expecting likely there's going to be some deal that's struck here shortly where China is going to be purchasing a bunch of stuff from the US or something. I don't know. But personally, I don't think it's going to stay long term. And even if it does stay long term, well, at least you can somewhat plan for, potentials in the future. So another thing just to call out here before the end of the video, we are going to be posting a tariff calculator on our website as well here shortly. You can use that calculator to calculate what your new pricing should be should all of these tariffs take effect, what it's going to look like from a costing standpoint for you, and where you can even have your ACOS and your desired tacos be at, and know what you're going to have to be from a pricing standpoint and how many units you're really going to have to sell to really make it all make sense. So go check out our website. I'll have a link down in the description as well. And all that being said, take it easy.